I want to see Batman do what he does best, be the world's greatest detective. Oh. What's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Cosplay Chris, and today it's a monumental one. We are going to be doing a quick little trailer breakdown / review for Matt Reeves' The Batman. The brand new trailer number 2 has been released at DC Fandome 2021, and I had the absolute honor of being on the after party for Australia and New Zealand this morning. It was hosted by Jaden Rodriguez, Osher Gunsberg, and Stephanie Bendixson. They were an absolute pleasure to work with, and I can't thank Warner Brothers Australia enough for having me on and representing the cosplay community. And with that, we actually reacted to some behind the scenes footage for the Batman as well as the brand new trailer. So what I've got here are some pivotal screenshots that I took from the trailer that I want to touch on, talk about, and then wrap this video up because it is a cracker of a day out there. But before we get to anything else, I want to talk about the Batman trailer. My first initial thoughts, and I said this on multiple videos in the comment section, my goosebumps got goosebumps. This is everything I've wanted to see for a very long time in a Batman movie, and I knew from day one Robert Pattinson was going to be a great Batman, but this just solidifies how much he's going to do an amazing job. And even down to his voice, you can't even recognize his voice. He sounds so damn amazing. You can feel the brute force and anger bleeding through that suit that he wears. And the more I see that suit, the more I love it. And his jaw just looks phenomenal in that cowl, let's face it. So the trailer starts off, we're at a diner, obviously in Gotham City, and we see Gordon and a SWAT team or some police come in and arrest what I'm guessing is the Riddler. So they arrest him, cuff him, take him away, and then the camera pans to his coffee and it has a question mark in it with some green striping around it, which is pretty cool, very reminiscent of the Riddler's trademark color. Now I love this. We see our first glimpse of the bat signal, and it's not a pristine bat signal at all. This seriously looks like something that Bruce and Alfred have scratch built together and just thrown it on top of the GCPD. It looks great. We see it illuminated in the sky. And then we get our first proper good look at Pattinson in the cowl again. And I just have to keep saying, he really fills that suit out well. And we do see a shot of him actually shirtless later on in the trailer. And I hope this will quieten down a lot of the naysayers because it looks like he's been training. It looks like Edward Cullen got a bit buff. Now we see the first beatdown amongst all those goons that we saw from the first trailer, and it looks like he's got an electric charge in the suit because when he grabs one of the goons by the throat, we see a charge go into their head, and it's just brilliant. Very reminiscent of the Arkham games. Now we then see Batman talking to someone in prison and interrogating them, and it looks like the Riddler, but they don't give it away exactly who it is when the roller door comes up, but we get a great shot of Rob in the cowl and he smashes the window, and I'll have to go back and check what he says, but again, like I said at the beginning of this video, you can just see that rage bleeding through that suit. He is a very brooding Batman. I love this shot of Batman and Catwoman on top of the building as the sun's coming up. It's beautifully shot from what I can see so far. I'm loving the color palette of this film. This is something I'd love to get in HD and have it framed or even as a wallpaper. It just looks great. Again, very reminiscent of the Arkham games when you're playing alongside Catwoman. Now we get our first proper glimpse of Andy Serkis as Alfred, and again, it just looks like Andy Serkis being Andy Serkis, which is just always amazing. And the fact that he's playing Alfred Pennyworth, he's going to bring so much gravitas to this role and charm, wit as well. That's what I want. I want that dry wit that Alfred is known for. Now I've got to talk about Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Initially, I love the casting choice, but now seeing her in motion and her costume changes, her wig changes as well, she looks great. She looks like she can hold her own, especially up against Batman and all the goons that she's faced off in this trailer. It looks like they're gonna be quite the pair in this film. I love this shot here of Batman taking down some thugs in what looks like a nightclub, and then he goes up against Colin Farrell's Penguin. Like everyone said, and I will say it too, if I had no idea Colin Farrell was playing the Penguin, I couldn't tell it was him. The makeup is phenomenal. I've never seen such brilliance in prosthetic makeup. And again, If I didn't know it was Colin Farrell, I just assume it was another actor. Now, we all know Bruce Wayne's tech is pretty highly advanced when it comes to the bat suit, but the fact that he can walk through a hallway and just cop bullets to the chest and keep walking is just badass. We get some great shots of the Batmobile, so much so that he takes out Oswald Cobblepot's car, flips the car, and then we get this brilliant shot at the end of him walking towards Oswald in a tipped car in the rain, and the camera is actually upside down, which I think is brilliant filmmaking. Now, a lot of people were wondering how he's going to use his cape, and he actually uses, from what it looks like, a base jumping suit, one of those squirrel suits, to glide through Gotham, which is practical and it works. This shot of Pattinson here just looking grubby, burnt and done, looks brilliant. There are murmurs that there is going to be a new suit in the film. It does get destroyed at some point. I think I've seen the shot where it gets destroyed, but for the most part, if they're saving it and keeping it under wraps, they're doing a damn good job. Now, this shot here is very interesting. This is very reminiscent of the warehouse fight from Batman v Superman, where Batfleck is absolutely wailing on one of those guys before he gets shot point blank in the back of the head and takes care of that guy with a nice broken arm. But here, it just reminds me of that rage. He just keeps going and going and going, laying into this goon. And we see Catwoman off to the side looking at just sheer horror, like, dude, like, your rage, this is next level. Like, what are you doing to this guy? He's done, he's fine. I'm really keen to see Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. I think he's a wonderful casting choice because the guy is such a class act. Much like Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth, they're gonna bring something different, but also familiar to their characters. Now, here's the shot I was talking about. It looks like Pattinson has really beefed up. He's leaned up and they've got the scar makeup on his back, which is great, very reminiscent of Bale and Affleck, but I really dig how he's looking. And we also saw in the behind the scenes preview a good shot of Pattinson on the side, shirtless. He looks like he's buffed up quite a bit in the chest area, so I am happy that he was taking the physical side seriously as well as the acting side. And so guys, that's pretty much it. Just a quick little run through of my first initial thoughts of the trailer and my favorite shots from the trailer. But I remember when the trailer was posted, I was in the green room at the studio where we were filming DC Fandom After Party this morning, and within half an hour the trailer had like 2.5 million views. It was just crazy, and rightfully so. I think Matt Reeves is going to deliver something very, very special, and that detective noir driven storyline. Now, this trailer was everything I wanted and more. It gave nothing away. All I saw was a bunch of beautiful shots, Pattinson in action. The more I see him in that suit, the more I love him. I think this is going to be something very special, Geeks and Geekettes, especially with that detective noir driven theme that they've got going on here. I want to see Batman do what he does best, be the world's greatest detective. Oh. So guys, when you have seen the brand new trailer for The Batman, please drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. What are you feeling and vibing about this trailer? What are your expectations for this film? Again, a massive thank you to Warner Brothers Australia for having me on board this morning for the DC Fandom After Party in Australia and New Zealand. It was an absolute honor and privilege. So with that being said, wherever you are in the world, please have yourself an absolute cracker of a day. I hope you're well. Hope you're happy. Be merry, be silly. And until next time, geeks, please always remember, cosplayers do it best.